Could be an interesting day of trade between a World Ag Supply Demand Estimates, or WASDE report, coming out at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And you throw in, well, on the livestock side, we've got the issue with the border closing again with Mexico over the screwworms. So we've got that. We've got higher cash trade. And then we have some trade developments as well. So that's coming up in a moment. But first off, where do we open the corn market? Let's go to Chicago. Old crop up 4. July, most active, up 3 at 452 3/4. New crop 444 3/4. It's 2 3/4 cents higher. Now to the bean market, and throw this in as well. Flash sale overnight. Mexico taking 120,000 metric tons of U.S. soybeans split between old and new crop. November up 15 3/4, 1046 1/4. Let's touch on this before we get over to Tommy Grisafi, but soy meal moving higher today, though it's been down 2 sessions, and soy oil higher as well. Wheat market has been under pressure last 3 sessions. July Chicago, penny and a half higher, 523 1/4. For hard red, July contract up 2 3/4, 520 1/4. And spring wheat down a penny 3/4 on December, 622. Cotton market has been rallying as well, up another 137 points. Now trading 71.30 on the March, and a penny and a half higher, now 156 higher on the D's. That's at 70.23. Let's bring in Tommy Grisafi, Nesvick Trading. Tommy, let's start with China first. And that announcement came out after Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent met up with Chinese counterparts in Switzerland.
Yeah, there was a very interesting things that happened with China. There was the initial reaction when the outside markets opened at 5 o'clock yesterday. We noticed that bump in the stock market. Dow Jones up 400 to 500. Strong U.S. dollar. Gold, immediate seller, opened down 60, went down 80, traded as low as down 130. You and I, Tony, we've been talking about gold a lot. So you've seen the risk on in people adjusting their assets. That was the first trade. Then grains opened up at 7, and they did okay. They opened higher, and then they went down. You could have bought corn lower on the night last night, no problem. The big news was at 2 a.m. Chicago time. That's when they actually told us what was in the deal. And you'd seen a press release from the United States, from the White House. You'd seen positive press release from the Chinese. Oftentimes countries meet, say it was a win-win for everyone, and they start talking bad about each other. It looks like they left that meeting with the structure of the deal done, and it's all systems go. Now, we have a lot of other things happening today. USDA report, we still, just because the market's open higher in the stocks doesn't mean they're going to close there. But overall, the Dow Jones now officially 7,000 points off the low. If you were someone who panicked because we were playing hardball, in the end, what people are saying, at least my opinion, is that we've had a bad deal with China and other countries for 40 years. We took a big chance and went for it, and it looks like country by country we're starting to strike deals, Tony.
So I talked to a gentleman over the weekend, and he said, I've been really nervous here as markets have been pulling back, and I asked him the simple question, are you a trader or are you an investor? And he looked at me. I said, well, I think traders can get worried about things like that, but investors, you're in it for the long haul. Am I right there?
Well, Warren Buffett, I think he knows a thing about this or two. He said something during the Berkshire Hathaway meeting as he announced his retirement. He said, although you may not believe me, I wish Berkshire Hathaway would drop 50% so I could buy more. And that's a very interesting statement from what would go down as the world's greatest investor. Buy dips, sell rips. Back to you, my friend.
Okay, Tommy, hang on. We'll come back. We'll talk proteins. Market Day report continues in a moment. A gain of $2.03 in basically one day. We're talking about the Cattle Facts 6-state Fed Steer Index, 224.09. Yeah, in one day went up over $2, just showing you the strength that we've seen in the cash market. All right, we're up and trading livestock futures now. Let's go live cattle. And as Brian Hoops pointed out earlier, about 30 minutes ago, with the border closing to Mexico again to feeder cattle, that could provide a stimulus to move higher today. June live cattle, 216.42. It's $1.72 higher. And the August at 211 even. It's up 142. Over to the feeders. Up 340 higher. Front month at 301.37. Hang on. The August contracts already hit 305. Last week we were wondering, could it hit 300? Forget 300. 303.85. August up 355. And with the news on China, is it helping hogs? Yes. June 99.25 up 167. So watch the strength in the July and August contracts. Tommy Grisafi's with Nesvick Trading. Tommy, everything's lining up for higher moves in livestock this week.
And with that, who knows how much will close down, right? If it was that easy, it's never that easy. One thing I can tell you is, and you and I, we've talked about this a lot. What are your choices if you own cattle? LRP insurance, the first level of protection. Buying puts, rolling those puts up. If you like the level you own these animals from, you can sell futures. Now with that, some of those choices are scary. The other thing that's scary is watching the feeder cattle market break $20. Oftentimes, and maybe we'll come back in a few weeks and you say, how do you know that? Oftentimes, markets make their top during the most bullish news. I'll never forget when corn was $8, everything looked bullish, like it was going to 10. A year later, it was at 5. So keep an eye on things. If you are out there, today's a great day to buy a put, roll them up, get protected, do what you need to do. We have a USDA report here at 11. If we did see corn start to catch a bid or something might change the way people are thinking. One important part, I was on a conference call this morning with Nesvick. When we talk about what's going on in Mexico, screwworm, we have to talk about what happens if and when screwworm comes to the United States. Sure, we're not accepting animals from Mexico anymore, but as you know, it's not that hard to cross over the border, and there's wild animals everywhere. So it's not a matter of if, it's probably a matter of when screwworm will come to the United States. Back to you, my friend.
Yeah, great point, Tommy, because that screwworm can affect any mammal at all. So I've got a pretty good feeling we've got more than just a few cattle that come across that could be affected. Great point. Tommy Grisafi, Nesvick Trading. Again, we've got that WASDE report coming out 12 o'clock.